So, starting point is very much based on a photograph of a child at a playground who had definitely given themselves their own haircut. Unearthly looking kid with like no bottom lip and just the rough idea of horns. Gonna gesso over this. Let's see if I can't get a little better at camera angles, huh? Okay, so you can see the ghost of the human ear shape, right? And you can go like full on, suddenly a deer ear, or you can just tweak it a little bit, yeah? And all of a sudden there's a little tufty, and then you bring it in, but still terminate the ear. There. And all my little pretty hair shapes are all gone now, aren't they? It's okay. We'll prioritize the ear over that. Right. See? So it's still human ear shape, just freaky deer ear proportions, yeah? There we go. And then the base of the antlers, there we go. See, they've got this crazy texture. We'll ignore the, stray dog got a hold of it texture, but the base texture, that's cool. And also in my other humans with antlers sort of paintings, I just kind of chickened out and buried the base of the antler in hair, right? I think with this one, I want to try and do it properly. I want to try and have naked pink skin running all the way up to it. Because that'll just, I don't know, underscore how weird and transparent the child is. Okay, so there's the idea of that, and I'm going to keep the skull on my desk, because of course I am. Can you see that? Please tell me it was in frame. There, so there's the beginning of the idea. And we'll just have the hairline start around there. Yeah? Antler partially visible over here, and I'm going to glaze over the whole mess in a mixture of transparent red iron oxide and ultramarine blue, because that's a fairly neutral, transparent combination of things. Alright, at this point I've sketched this little face several times, and you can see that the idea of the little face still exists. And so now I'm just taking advantage of a nice large flat area and getting some color down. What is this? We've created a mid-tone to paint over, yeah? And now I'm saying, okay, if that's the mid-tone, then the skin over it is going to revolve around these colors. And there's no white involved. There's some pale premixes, but right now there's no white involved because I like having the white happen. Lately I like having the white happen later in the process when it's really obvious, and then it's a lot of fun to put on. So I naturally, like most people who developed their implement habits in school, tend to push down really hard. So if you're ever frustrated by your mark making, force yourself to go lighter. Force yourself to change something really basic like that, and interesting things will happen. And it will force you to pay closer attention, and that is always a good thing. Finally figured out what I was trying unsuccessfully to explain earlier, yeah? That none of these colors really, they exist. None of these colors exist as pure colors, right? Because none of this stuff is paint chips. So all of it just exists relative to what else is in the painting. Which, on the one hand, is kind of crazy making. Because when we're learning about colors, when we're little, everything is just simple. And then we try and create something convincing, and nothing is. But hey, that's the way of like everything, right? So I made the smudgies on the cheek because I needed something to exist that I could make everything else relative to it, right? So there was the mid-tone background so that I wouldn't be working on white, which makes everything around it. Where'd that pink go? There it is. Yes, opal, I know. Makes everything around it darker. And then I gave myself a skin default. And, oh, and I'm still not using white. The current lightest lights are unbleached titanium, which if you're trying to force yourself to not use up all your brightest whites right away, hiding your white from yourself and using unbleached titanium as your mix in and as your highlightiest highlights, at least for a while. Opal is nudging my ankle like, we need to go. Basically, if you need to hide something from yourself, that's a perfectly acceptable thing to do. And doopy-doo. Also, I don't know that me talking while painting is the most efficient thing to do, but I do know that it's hard to pick up things from videos that move at light speed. So this is an experiment. Let me know what you do or don't like about it. And, I mean, goodness knows you get a lot more process this way, don't you? And obviously this isn't the final thing. I do not a la prima anything. And if you do, then you are a braver and more thoughtful painter than I am. Alright, there's a little bit of light that comes off the edge of the eye, which I guess, since it's more pronounced in small children, is what people are one way or another playing off of with winged eyeliner. Which, I like winged eyeliner on other people. On myself, that's not something I know I'm necessarily capable of, I don't think. But look, there's a lot of blue in that eye socket, a lot of pink around the eye, and where there's a fold like this, the temptation's just to do a line, right? No, there's weird pinkness in the skin going down towards that fold, and surprisingly to me, there's like blue on the eyelid in this kid. Totally different for everybody. There we go. Oh, I'm getting distracted. Honestly, that's the way of it when I'm painting and not trying to think about why I'm painting. I get like, oh, I have this color on my brush. Where else can I put this color? And whoa! Whoa, Nelly! What? See? I'm distracted. and perhaps needing to shut up. So I've been going on and on about, oh, mid-range values, so important. And then I sit down this morning, afternoon, and I'm like, nope. Time to make the background black. Just go all out for this. And honestly, I really admire painters' paintings that are delicate mid-value expressions. It's not me. So, I mean, I love delicate little head floating in pool of inky darkness tropes. There we go. Then get some water and soften up some edges. The thing I'm going to have to be careful about here is you always want, like instinctively again, going back to school, to make darks, like enthusiastic, high contrast darks right there, right? You probably shouldn't. Depends on the situation. I mean, everything depends on the situation, of course. But if you study your information really carefully, then your darkest darks are probably not the pupil, in spite of what instinct is telling you, right? So, no bother. There we go. So if you're just following shadows around, then force your brain to actually follow the shadows and not the stuff you want to play up because it's what you feel like should be the focus. We're humans. Our eyes will find the other eyes. We will instinctively know to look at the face if we see a face in a painting. You don't have to encourage us to do that necessarily. And hey, let's remind me that that entire antler needs to be a lot closer to the background color than the front antler, even if I want to add cool texture and contrast. Shadows are more important. Yeah? Alright, so something I like doing, you see the, I don't know, disordered dandelion fluff look? Instead of trying to use a nice brush, see, just like using the, I don't know, outside corner of a cheap, what is that, angled brush. And then it gives, yeah, disorganized dandelion hair. So, not for sleek, but it works. And now I'm giving myself permission to start using white, which is always fun, right? And I shouldn't jump right in on pure white right off the bat, should I? I know this. It's so hard though. That has some pink in it. Let's add some turquoise, because that thin around the eye's skin and also the funny little cheeks are facing upwards, so they ought to catch light off the sky, right? And sometimes that'll give you blues. I do really love, crap, the pink. There we go. How round those cheeks came out. And now, I know that this is probably going to turn into a pretty disorganized video situation, but did I say this already? That I know that it's really hard to pick up on certain things with the sped up videos, but I'm absolutely certain you don't want to listen to me babble for the entire painting process. So, if you have request or demands or, you know, anything specific. I want to see eyeballs. I want to see a mouth. I want you to talk more about how you, I don't know, pick colors or something. Mouths are funny though. See? Funny little shadow right next to the lip, and then you have to manage the light on the top of the lip. Yeah, faces are complicated. I'm babbling, aren't I? Let's see what else. I need to put shadowing right here, and I need to manage the transition to the fur, because for some reason I decided I wanted fur sticking off the edge of the ears into the hair. Why did I think that this complete lack of contrast was the way to go? I don't know, but that's what we went with. I don't know. Honestly, I think I did it because when you watch, I don't know, fantasy ears, fake ears, they're just, you know, skin makeup tone with a corner on them. And I didn't want that. You know what? That's another thing you could tell me. You could tell me if you'd rather listen to my thought process like this, or if you'd rather listen to me pretend. Because the point of the portrait is that, you know, normal portrait painter finds creature and is doing a portrait of creature, right? So you tell me if you'd rather have me babbling about things like, this is why I made the ears furry, or if you'd rather have me have a nice story about how I saw this creature in the woods by a stream, and I wanted to ask it to come home so I could paint it, but that didn't work out, so I snuck a quick photograph. And then a noise came and it startled away just like a deer would. Yeah. Both types of videos could exist. I'm babbling. There we go. So this is why I say you don't want to listen to me do the whole painting like this, because you'd end up listening to me hum in bloom over and over and over again, and that would drive anybody insane. But as you can see, I added, I don't know, cool shadows to the eye socket, and now soft pink light. Oh, I was thinking when I was messing with this last night, the shadows in the light area are never as dark as you think they ought to be. Never, ever, ever. Like, we want dark, dramatic shadows, and then it just messes up the whole light and dark pattern across the whole painting. So, that is my child laughing, believe it or not. So, you have to hold yourself back if you're looking for something that feels natural. Okay, we'll call this done. Just ambient light on it now. 11 by 14. There's the shadow with some like reflected cool blues. The slightly integrated fur on the ears. Some cool, I don't know, highlights for hair down here where you wouldn't see them otherwise. Very blue shadows on the neck. And then, like a shadow curve here that goes into the little fold under the mouth, right? And then the nose, you see how there's the bridge and the little ball of the nose and the side bit, and then kind of a lump next to the ridge of the nose, and then we're into cheekbone territory, well, cheek territory, and the fun little flaps. That makes Critter look very young, the shape of that eye. Yeah? Didn't even worry about eyebrows because Kit didn't have them. Antlers are all over pale, but cooler and grayer on the bottom. And then all the fun little detailing with the, let's call it tousled hair, and the back antler just staying very gray, not detailed. I don't know if this is useful. I know that at some points I would have found it very useful. I know that there's some artists I'd love to see them do something similar, so let's give it a shot, right? See the little ball on the earlobe, and then it goes in, cooler pinker, and then lighter again, comes up. That right there I could have worked better. I might go in again on that. Could have put little tufts of hair here, but I think they would have just looked mangy. So, full on bald up to integrating into the antler in this case. That's new for me. Alright, all done. You know Her Highness? Yes, who's the best little fluffy wuffy ever. Yeah? Look at her scowl. She's so ferocious. And then this is the reason I didn't have a video last week. Yeah? He's about to come out and have groomies and treats and then run around. Need to get him fixed so he can be besties with Her Highness Opal the rabbit. He was a very, very neglected mini Angora of some kind with a little flat face. Who's so soft. Yes. Yes, him is. Yes, your sister's out here, isn't she? Opal's licking my ankle like, what are you doing playing with Pippin? But